start at 11 o'clock. So again, I'm going to be here at 9:30. Let me write that down. I will be here.
Sorry.
Okay. I will be here at 9:30. Both days. So the study can take place whenever. But on Monday only, I will allow you to come in and take the final early if you choose to. And I need about half of you to do so. The reason is I have 4 labs out there. You don't really do a whole lot, but I know how labs work. It becomes a logjam really fast. And then the second wave will be officially at 1 o'clock. You pick. Now the lab out here will be totally closed. You will be the only ones around. So it's not a matter of, you're going to get lost. I'm going to be just out there with you when you're doing your lab mark. And then you'll be bouncing back and forth between here and out there. And then I'll start the second group at 1 o'clock. And if you want to come, I figure that it'll kind of all figure out all by itself. Somebody, every other person will show up and ready to take it at 11. Other people will be here at 1. If we get everybody show up at 11, then I'm going to ask half of you to stick around till 1. Start at 11 is the earliest. 11 is the earliest. If everybody shows up at 1, then we'll start again at 3.
Can we come in on Friday if we don't have all our docs done?
Yeah, the question, that's the other part of it. So let me finish with the final first, okay? On engine performance, the final is going to be on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Now, there are no labs associated with that. I'm going to cover the final here right now. What John is asking about is when can we keep working in our lab? And the answer is up till 12 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'm going to finish that. Wherever you've gotten up to that point, that's the end. So I'll be here at regular time in the morning, and that's around 8:30. And you can come on in and work in the morning and finish today. When I leave today at around 5:30, 6 o'clock, that all the work today has to stop. So you just can't stay this evening and work during Rob's diesel class, okay? All right. Any questions beyond that? Okay, we're talking the final, finishing up our course pack. Course packs are due when? On Tuesday at the final, at the latest. So have to have that. As of Tuesday, I am closed down. I'm not going to be here Wednesday. I'm over next door, new students coming in. So the whole thing starts all over again for me. Any questions beyond that? Okay. If you have a little bit of notebook paper and you want to go ahead and take a few notes, this is going to be short on the final for engine performance 1. The reason it's going to be short is all of the multiple choice in the 80 questions are all from your homework. All of them are from your homework. Okay? So I'm making this video that Bill's making really short. But there are some discussion questions, and there are 9 of those. And I'm going to give you what the discussion questions will cover. You ready, Bill?
Okay. We're rolling.
Should I get closer? Here, right?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay.
We can check your nose hairs.
Okay. Don't want that. Okay, here's a question. Here's a question. The PCM and drive cycle. In your book, you have something called drive cycle. The drive cycle tests emission-related components. So here's the question. What does the PCM do during a drive cycle to test emission-related components? That is the question. You can find it on page 39 in your engine performance book.
What does the PCM do during the drive cycle?
What does the PCM do during the drive cycle to test emission-related components? Page 39. I want you to look up on page 43 What is the difference between a type A and a type B, OBD2, DTC? I'll say that again. What is the difference between a type A and a type B, OBD2, DTC? With me?
OBD2.
DTC. Diagnostic trouble code.
43. What is the difference between
On page 42, what is the difference between a trip and a warm-up cycle? What is the difference between a trip and a warm-up cycle as it applies to automobiles? Have to be specific for some of you.
Can you repeat that one?
Next question, page 42 also. What could cause the mill to flash? Maintenance indicator light. What would cause that to flash? Again, as it applies to automobiles. On page 468, you have a list of things, and I'm asking for engine performance faults that could occur if a vacuum leak occurs. What are problems that could occur if you have a vacuum leak? And that's on page 468. The last three questions deal with emissions, and some of those are on today's quiz. What are 4 items that can cause either of these, any of these? High CO, high hydrocarbon, or excessive NOx? What are 4 possible things that could cause either of those? Hydrocarbons, CO, NOx. Those are on page 476 and 477. I can't make this any easier, folks. This is nice. Okay? You just now have to remember all.
I'll post this today because
Okay.
I've got my computer here.
So those are the 9 questions, okay?
Appreciate it.
Is that going to help you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who feel like you're flailing around a little bit, I'm giving you every advantage. Every advantage.
The rest of that.
There are no bonus questions on the final, so this, you really have to do